got along otherwise. It just came to a head. And those types of...
So there was no clash over what you would record or what kind of music you were singing, etc.?
No.
None of that?
No creative issues whatsoever. And they were gracious enough to allow me very wide palette to, put colors onto.
So at about the highest risk one would think someone who gets famous would take is to drop the name.
Wide palette to, wide palette to, wide palette to, wide palette, wide palette to, put colors onto.
So at about the highest risk one would think
wide palette to, wide palette to, wide palette to, put colors onto. Wide palette to, put colors onto. Two, wide palette to, wide palette to, put colors onto.
So at about the highest risk one would think someone who gets famous would take
colors onto. Colors onto.
So at about the highest risk one would think
came to head. Colors onto. Colors onto.
So at about the highest risk one would think
came to head.
So at about the highest risk one would think So at about the highest risk one would think
came to head.
So at about the highest risk one would think
came to head. And those types of...
So there was no clash over what you would record or what kind of music you were singing, etc.?
No.
None of that?
No creative issues whatsoever. And they were gracious enough to allow me very wide palette to, put colors onto.
So at about the highest risk one would think someone who gets famous would take is to drop the name that got them famous.
Well, that was one of the things that I dealt with, is that I really searched deep within to find out the answer to whether fame was most important to me or my spiritual well-being, and I chose the latter.
Was it difficult to not be what you had become known as?
You mean
you had become known as? 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 You had become known as?
You mean
I think, well, let's say the only other famous person I know who did this was Cassius Clay. He's a dear friend. He changed his name to Muhammad Ali as heavyweight champion of the world. It was incredible. To change your name, that was due to a faith belief. But he wasn't selling records. He was in the ring as long as he wanted sold. You, though, a person in show business is almost dependent on recognition to stop being Prince.
That's a good point. I pretty much wanted to be dependent upon God. When you get the inner calling to do something and you know that you're being inspired by God, and you pretty much know you better answer that call or suffer the consequences.
You think this was God-inspired as well?
I do believe it.
Why then did you choose the artist formerly known as?
Well, I didn't choose that. That was
chosen for you.
Yeah.
What would you have chosen? What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth?
My name at birth was Prince Rogers Nelson.
Only be accessed in the
Rogers. What would you have chosen? What would you have chosen? What would you have chosen?
Words are intense, so my
What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth? What would you have chosen? What would you have chosen?
Take off your clothes.
What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth? What would you have chosen? 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 What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth? You think of Nelson?
No.
Rogers. Were you thinking of the name?
No, it didn't come to me.
So how did the...
Prince Rogers.
So you think of Nelson?
No.
Rogers. Were you thinking of the name?
No, it didn't come to me.
So how did the artist formerly known as come about?
That came up through people's problem with, mainly the media's problem with not having a pronunciation for the syllable.
So did you think of Nelson? So did you think of Nelson? So did you think of Nelson? So did you think of Nelson?
No.
Rogers. So did you think of Nelson?
No.
Rogers. Were you thinking of a name? Were you thinking of a name?
No, it didn't come to me like that.
So how did the artist formerly known as come about? How did the artist formerly known as come about?
That came up through people's problem with, mainly the media's problem with not having a pronunciation for the syllable. Not having a pronunciation for the syllable. not having a pronunciation for the symbol. So they had to come up with something, I guess.
So the artist formerly known as is a media invention, not your invention. You're a symbol. Okay, how do you promote a symbol?
Well,
Promote a symbol.
Well, what we found is throughout the.
How did the artist formerly known as come about? How did the artist formerly known as come about?
That came up through people's problem with, mainly the media's problem with not having a pronunciation for the symbol. So they had to come up with something, I guess.
So the artist formerly known as is a media invention, not your invention. You're a symbol. Okay, how do you promote a symbol?
Well, what we found is throughout the world, if you hold this up and show it to people what they think of, they say, "Which?" We found this problem with mainly the media's problem with not having a pronunciation for the symbol. So they had to come up with something, I guess.
So this is a media invention, not your invention. You're a symbol. Okay, how do you promote a symbol? Well, it's a media invention, not your invention. You're a symbol. Okay, how do you promote a symbol? You're a symbol. Your invention. Your invention. You're a symbol. Your invention. You're a symbol. Okay, how do you promote a symbol? You're a symbol. You're a symbol. You're a symbol. Okay, how do you promote a symbol? You're a symbol. You're a symbol.
Well, what we found is throughout.
Not your invention. Not your invention. Not your invention. You're a symbol.
They had to come up with something, I guess. They had to come up with something, I guess.
So
They had to come up with something, I guess.
So
Media's problem with not having a pronunciation. Problem with mainly the media's problem with not having a pronunciation for the symbol.
what would you have chosen? Chosen for. What would you have chosen? Did you think of a name? What is your name at birth?
My name at birth was Prince Rogers Nelson.
So did you think of Nelson?
Did
you think of a name? What is your did you think of a name? What is your name at birth?
My name at birth was Prince. My name at birth was Prince Rogers. My name at birth was Prince. My name at birth was Prince Rogers. My name at birth was Prince. My name at birth was Prince Rogers Nelson.
So did you think of Nelson? Why then did you choose the artist form? You think this was God? You think this was God inspired? You think this was God inspired as well? You think this was God inspired? You think this was God inspired as well? Why then did you choose the artist form? So you think of Nelson. So you think of Nelson.
Problems.
So you think of Nelson. So you think of Nelson. Rock.
No, it didn't come to me.
So how did the artist name?
No, it didn't come to me.
Nelson. So you think of Nelson. So you think of Nelson. So you think of Nelson. Rogers. Rogers. So how did the artist name? Rogers. How did the we're thinking the name? Rogers. We're thinking the name. Rogers. We're thinking the name.
No, it didn't come to me.
So how did the artist formerly known as come about?
That came up through people's
So the artist formerly known as is a media. Rogers. Not your Rogers. We're thinking the name. Rogers. How do you promote? Were you thinking of a name?
Well,
The highest risk one will think someone who gets famous would take is to drop the name that got them famous.
that was one of the things that I dealt with, is that I really searched deep within to
How did the artist
find
formerly known
out
as
the
come
answer
about?
to whether
How
fame
did
was
the
most
art-
important to me.
How did the artist
my spiritual
How did the artist formerly known as come about?
That came
Was it
through people's
to not be
problem
you had
with
become known as?
mainly the media's problem with not having
you had become known as?
something
You had become the artist formerly known as a media. You had become known as, not yours. You had become known as. You're a symbol. You had become known as. You had become. How do you promote a symbol? I think, well, let's say famous. The only other famous person I know who does this is heavyweight champion of the world. It's incredible. It's a change of name. It was kind of a faithful leaf. But he wasn't selling records. He was in the as long as he was sold. You're the person in show business is almost dependent on recognition. To stop being hurt.
problem. That's a good point. I pretty much problem dependent upon mainly the God's problem. You're not having a inner calling to do something, and you know that you're being inspired by God.
Not
You
yours.
pretty much
You're a
you
symbol.
better answer that call.
How do you promote? You think this was God inspired as well?
Well,
Why then did you choose the artist not your name? You're a
choose
symbol.
that. That was
Chosen for you. How do you, what would you have chosen? You're a symbol. What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth? You're a
my
symbol.
name at birth was Prince Roger Nelson.
Only be accessed in the privacy
Rogers.
of your
What would you have chosen? What would you have chosen? What would you have chosen?
words are intense, so my
What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth?
listen.
What would you have chosen? What would you have chosen?
Take off your clothes.
What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth? What would you have chosen? 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 What did you think of the name? What is your name at birth?
Prince Roger.
Nelson. Rogers. Were you thinking of it?